So, hello everyone. My name's Jay, in case you didn't know. And what I'm going to do today is take you through the basic techniques, especially the body positions that I need you to learn to adopt when taking part in the exercises. Now, whether that be with me, with the predominantly band workouts that I do, resistance bands. For today's purposes, you probably can't see it because of the lighting, but I'm just literally going to be showing you all the exercises with this one light band today. But even if you're in the gym and working out yourself, really, really important to always make sure that your body, before you start any weight or resistance training, is in the right position to support itself before you get going. Okay. So first and foremost, a couple of little tips. As I said, I use bands. Some of you that are working out with me regularly will know that anyway. And I always suggest wristband or wrist straps and gym gloves. Okay, it really does make a difference. First thing I want to do is just show you without any bands at all, the two main positions that I'll ask you to adopt for multiple different exercises. The first one is, believe it or not, it is important, how to stand up straight ready for an exercise. Now, a lot of people when it comes to the gym, because in their everyday life, they compensate, there's a lean to one side, they tend to go one way or put an arm another. They very rarely actually stand and use all their postural and structural muscles to keep themselves upright. So the first thing first is feet facing forward, just past hip width apart, the slightest bend in your knees, okay? And then really drilling your heels into the floor. So that connection is intentional. You can feel you're pushing the weight onto your heels, not onto your toes. So if anything, you're sitting slightly back into your heels. And then you squeeze your stomach muscles, you squeeze your bum muscles. And even if you just do that now, just literally standing there and as you're holding that rigid stance, just sort of go any way, just move, but keeping that connection, that squeezing of the stomach, that squeezing of the bum, keeping your heels into the floor. If you move, even if you lean forward or you go backwards, you'll find that you've got this rigid core. Now that's really important. If I show you from the side as well, so look, this is bad posture. I'm slouching. Squeeze my bum, squeeze my stomach, pull my shoulders back and my chest up. If I come slightly closer to the camera so you can see my upper torso, that you can see there I'm rounded, shoulders back, chest up, stomach tight, bum engaged. That basic position, as you're going to see when I demonstrate a lot of these upper body exercises, that will hold you true in regards to your foundational position before you start moving. Feet just past hip width apart, slight softening of the knees, squeezing the stomach, squeezing the bum, shoulders back, chest up, you're ready to go. Now, another big part of the band workouts is bent over exercises. And a lot of that will be for your back and for your rear shoulders. And being able to hold up your upper body weight in a bent over position with good posture, again, really important just in general life. The older we get, we want to be able to maintain the strength to at least hold our own body weight. So I'll show you from the side to start off with this one. So I'm going to step slightly towards the camera. So as you can see here, I'm going to pull my shoulders back, okay? So my chest stays up. I'm going to squeeze my bum. I'm going to slightly soften my knees. Now, this is the important part. And I'm going to put my hands on my chest so you can hopefully see my back at the minute. That is a rounded back. And if I go bend over like that in that position to conduct any form of exercise, any form of row or rear delt exercise, all the pressure is being put on my lower back, and that is terrible, terrible positioning and posture, and that will create an injury. Okay, I'm going to show you how I can adjust that with a couple of simple movements. Importantly, though, afterwards, I'll show you from a stand-up position how to get into the correct position. But even if you find yourself like this, and you'll know if your back's hunching, you'll be able to feel it. The first thing I suggest is poke your bum out. Look at the difference straight away. So just from here, rounded, all I'm going to do is imagine tilting my hips up so my bum pokes out. So let go down again. That's terrible positioning. Poke my bum out. All of a sudden, look at my back and even look at my shoulders. So from there, shoulders are hunched down forwards. Back is rounded. Stick your bum out. all of a sudden there's a flat back, and then I can just pull my shoulders up just a touch. And if you look at my chest is up, and that is the perfect position to be in for any of the bent over exercises that we're going to be doing. Now, it's funny, over the years I worked in gyms, how difficult people can find getting into that position. It's practice. Okay, so showing you from an upright position now. So if I'm standing in that good form upright position that we just covered, where my shoulders are back, my chest is up, my bum's engaged, my knees are slightly soft, the weight is in the back of my heels. All I'm going to do, as I bend over, I'm going to keep my shoulders retracted backwards, which will naturally push my chest up and lead back as if I'm trying to find a seat with my bum. I'll put my hands on my chest so you can see. So there. I've not even looked over at the camera yet, but I'll tell you how far. That is about as far as I can go, where it still feels that my back is straight. Yep. But you don't even need to get that far. You can be up here and still in a good position for a row. Obviously, the lower you get, the more it'll emphasize your back muscles. The most important thing though is, as you can see, look, that, terrible. That, perfect. So again, showing you from this position. So standing straight, shoulders back, chest up. As I bend over, I keep my chest up. My knees soften that little bit more. My bum is searching for an imaginary chair behind me. I'll feel it. You'll feel it pulling in your hamstrings. That is also a very good sign that you're in the right position. And there you go. So whenever I say a bent over row, a bent over fly, a bent over rear delt exercise, this is the position you want to adopt. Okay? Perfect. Now, we will do some seated exercises as well. And today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you both sitting on the floor and actually using a chair as well. You can use a chair and have a good workout. So I will show you both alternatives. What I'm going to get into now is the first muscle group, which is going to be chest. Now, for chest, predominantly, you're going to be doing pushing exercises. Now, your chest is a big muscle, big group of muscles, sorry, and as normally, as good practice, to support with muscles for any chest exercises will be your triceps and quite often your shoulders, your anterior delts, your front deltoid muscles, which are here. So, I'm going to take my band. First of all, we're going to go through the press, different press positionings. So, got my band here, okay? I'm going to wrap my band under my armpits, okay? And I'm going to step forward to show you what I do at this point. I'm now holding the band, you can see, with one hand away from me, okay? Now, with my other hand, I'll come close to show you this, I'm going to reach across both bands. You can see now my right hand has got both bands. Now I can let that dangle. And then I can put my left hand and take the band from my right hand, knowing now that when I stand up, they should feel even, which they do. Now, if there was some sort of clear, obvious one side, as you can see here, clearly a lot more band coming through this side than this side, then it's quite simple. You just readjust using your back, rubbing it along your back until you feel comfortable. So again, to set up for press, whenever I say incline press, decline press, standard press, bands under the armpits, keep the bands extended away from you with one arm, reach across the bands with the other hand so that you know when you drop them down, the buckles, that you're about even. Then you take one of them bands with the hand that's spare, and you're into your first position. Now, for a bitty snoz, standard press. For a standard press, you want to start, a lot of people end up like this. You want to start wide, okay? And remember your positioning, as you can see, stomach tight, knees slightly soft, chest up, shoulders back. And for a standard press, we're pushing and meeting in the middle, keeping our arms about the same height as our shoulders. So we start wide, we meet in the middle, come back nice and wide. Not here, okay? There's another close press that we can do after, but for your standard press, just like you would in the gym with a bar, you start nice and wide. The reason we meet in the middle is if I show you from this side, if I go straight, that's where my arm finishes. If I go and meet in the middle with my arms, I can actually extend just a touch. You can see my shoulders round at the top to get that full extension. So that is your standard press, chest press, okay? Okay, now, incline chest. Why do we do incline chest? To build up the top part of your chest muscles and also puts a little bit more pressure on your shoulders. It's exactly the same setup. Under your arms, you reach across to make sure that the band is even. You take a band in each hand. Now, if I turn to the side, so it's the same setup, nice and wide, okay? However, now, step back a touch, I'm going to be pressing up and above my head. What you might find is the band rolls up your back a little bit. Don't panic that it's under your arm, so it's not going to go anywhere. So again, you start wide, up and press. Okay, showing you from the front, starting nice and wide, up, meet in the middle, and down. Stomach tight, knees slightly soft, heels pushed into the floor, bum tight the whole time. So I'm not being lazy with my technique. And remember your breathing, nice deep breaths. So people often will exhale on the effort, inhale as they're retracting. Okay? Fantastic. Right. Decline press. For the decline press, you'll put the band around the back of your neck, right at the base where it meets the trap muscle. So you've got that lovely strong base there. Then what you do again, one hand, you can hold the buckle so that you know the bands are even. Take across both. Get my hands in position. Now, this is important. For the decline press, your elbows start up and high. If you've ever seen in the gym or even on the beach, you've got the dip bars. You know, where people go down and they dip up. That's basically this exercise. However, with a band, you get an extra extension at the bottom because obviously there's no bars we're having to hold on to restrict our movement. We can actually move in a more natural arc. So you start up high, you push down just slightly in front of you, and you meet at the bottom in the middle. So it's up high, down. Now, from the side, what I tend to do with my decline press is, again, really important that I'm squeezing my bum, squeezing my stomach. Now, I'm going to just slightly lean forward a touch. So you can see there, I'm not back upright. I'm just slightly leaning forward a touch. However, I'm really working my glute muscles to make sure that this lower back area stays true and stays rigid. I'm squeezing my stomach so that I'm slightly leaning forward and I'm just pushing, as you can see, just down and slightly away. Starting wide, meeting in the middle. Showing you from the front, starting wide, meeting in the middle. Okay? Now, another chest exercise is flies. Now, with the flies, I'm going to I've got the band, holding it in the buckle, at the end buckles in each hand. I let it droop on the floor, and I'm going to step into the middle of where the band is on the floor, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little pull to see if it feels even. Now, at the minute, my right feels a little looser, so I'm just going to lift my foot up again, just the slightest adjustment, and now that feels good. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the buckles in each hand, okay, and then I'm going to step through the band. So now, obviously, showing you from the side, the position I'm in is in a step position. Now, what I'm going to do is, to start with, get my chest up, stomach tight, then I'm going to soften my back leg a touch so that I'm sitting with the weight into that foot that is holding the band down, and there's a slight lean back. Stomach tight, my balancing foot, which in this case is my left foot, again is rigid on the floor, so I can feel that I've got good balance. Then what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you from this front as well. I'm going to, now that that's my setup position, I'm leaning slightly back. I'm going to bring my arms out, as you can see here. So my upper knuckles are facing behind me. And what I'm going to do is, with my head staying in line, with my chin in line with my chest, I'm going to bring my hands from this position in an arc to meet above my head and then back down here. So that's really your start position here. That's your finishing position. down. Show you from the side. So again, leaning back just a touch, just so it's nice and comfortable. I can feel that weight in my back leg. Start position here, flying across my chest, really working across my chest muscles and my anterior delts, my shoulder muscles as well. Okay. Now with this exercise, you will be using one of your lighter bands and you can build up to working heavier. So that's your fly exercise. So when I say flies, that's what I'm referring to. Next, excuse me, we're going to do a crossover. I'm going to start with low crossovers. There's higher crossovers as well. So again, band buckles in each hand. Let the band droop onto the floor. This time I'm stepping on with both feet. And again, before I get going, I'm going to adjust my bands to make, it's just always the most simple adjustment. So look, for example, there, you can even clearly see, look at the difference. My left hand's down here, my right hand's up here. So obviously there's a lot more slack on my right. I need to bring my right foot over to make sure that they're even. There you go, that's about even. So again, this is going to be your nice, staunch stand-up position, feet hip width apart, heels into the floor, stomach tight, bum engaged. Now what you're going to be doing is your hands are going to start from the sides, okay? And then I'll start with my right. I'm going to bring my right arm across my chest. Now you can see there's a slight bend. However, that bend doesn't change. So that slight bend in the arm stays the whole way through the exercise. So there's my right cross. There's my left cross. Now, as you bring your arm across, so as my right arm comes across my right chest, I'm tensing my right chest and I'm also squeezing down that side of my abdomen because you'll get a really good oblique workout if you're doing these properly. So I'm squeezing, I'm thinking about the muscles I'm working, my chest, my obliques. There's even a portion of my bicep muscle working here to keep this angle true. Comes back across. Left arm, squeezing my left chest, squeezing my left oblique muscles. And again, my left bicep working so that I'm not up here, I'm not down here. I'm keeping that same bend the whole time. So low crossovers, squeezing across the body. Great exercise for working your chest muscles, especially the inner chest. Also, like I said, if you're really squeezing your core, you'll get a great workout across your abdomen doing these as well. Okay. Now, let's just say you're using your lightest band and you're finding it too hard with that resistance. You can either step in even narrower so that there's even more slack on the bands, or you can step on with one foot and step with your right foot or left foot slightly forward, get yourself balanced, okay, and then conduct the exercise exactly the same way. Okay, right, higher crossovers. Starting same position, which by now you should be clocking. You let the band droop onto the floor. You step into the band. You make sure they feel about even. My right one again is a little bit loose. Right, so higher crossovers, starting with my hands out here, nice and wide, stomach tight, slightly softening in my knees, and I'm pulling the bands up and meeting in the middle around my eye height. So from here up so that the bottom of my knuckles are meet, like I can just see through to you guys in the camera, just underneath my hands. So starting wide, really squeezing your stomach, really squeezing your chest, and that's your high crossovers. Another chest exercise is close press. Bands again under the armpits. Remember the setup. Hold the buckles out with one hand, cross over the bands with the other hand, let the buckles loose, and then take the band with the other hand, make sure they feel right. So, make sure they feel balanced, sorry. So first of all, you've got a close standard press. So from here, you can see my start position is actually my hands are right into my chest area. And for this exercise, we're going to be, it's still a chest exercise, but it's working more of your tricep muscles. You're going to be pushing out, extending, and back. Pushing straight out, extending, and coming back again. And of course, that's your standard press. So from the front, it looks like this. Okay, and just add a little moment. is recording. And you can also do incline close press. So from here, pushing up, coming back down. And what you want to do when you get to that full extension, really squeeze that chest, them chest muscles, and back again. So from the front, incline close press, back down again. Fantastic. Okay, and that's your chest muscle exercises complete. We're going to move on to back. Now, for the back exercises, I'm actually going to show you options seated on the floor as well as standing. So if you remember from the start of the video, I give a demo on the bent over position. This is where you're going to put that into practice. So you've got close grip, wide grip, and underhand grip rows. All three of them you can either perform with the stand up, bent over position or on the floor. I'll show you on the floor. No, actually, I'm going to show you the grips first. That's most importantly. So, close grip. When I say close grip, rows, you'll be holding the buckles, okay, here. So you can see that I've got them in, much like you'd hold a hammer. Okay, so you've got a hold, you can hold right at the end of the buckles. And close grip, you're going to be pulling the bands always. It'll be up towards your ribs. So when you hear it's a close grip row, whether you're seated or standing, the motion goes from fully extended, which will be your start position, to then pulling up towards top of your ribs. When I say a wide grip, you can see here, my hands now, my upper knuckles are facing away from me or up towards the ceiling. Okay, and for a wide grip, you'll always make sure that your hands are a lot wider and they try and track in a straight line. So they're not starting wide and end narrow. You start wide, you finish wide. So you're trying to keep your hands in a nice line, straight up and straight down again. Underhand grip. I'm now reversing, holding the buckles. I'm now holding with an underhand. The difference being, whenever it's an underhand exercise, again, it'll be close to your body. So your hands are not going to be wide, it'll be close to your body. You'll try and track your hands along the side of your thighs up to your hip area. And I'll show you these both sitting down and bent over in a moment. But what I'm trying to get you used to at this point is the three grips. Close grip to the ribs. Wide grip, start wide, finish wide. Underhand grip, trailing along the legs up towards the hip. And again, close to the body. Okay, now in regards to positioning, we'll do stand up first and foremost. So for a close grip row, step onto the bands. I'm going to get myself into that lovely position where I'm sticking my bum out, chest up, shoulders back, getting over as low as I can. I'll go from the side. So here's my start position. Got my close grip row hand grips. Then I'm pulling up. You can see my hands are going up towards my ribs. Okay, I'm keeping everything tight, my stomach tight, my backside tight the whole time. Up towards my ribs, straight down again. Okay. Underhand grip. I'm going to now shift my hand. So I was in that position. I've shifted my hands into that position. So it's an underhand grip. Pulling my hands slightly back so they're starting at the sides of my knees. And I'm going to be pulling up again, but this time pulling up the sides of my legs, my outer thighs up towards the top of my hips where my bum is. Showing you from the side. From here. All the way full extension. Then for wide grip. Get myself in a position again. Bent over, chest up, shoulders back. Bum sticking backwards, arms nice and wide. I'm pulling up, keeping my hands as much as possible in almost like they're stuck in a straight line. Now I'm going to show you these options on a chair. Before I do that, so your standard dining room chair. Sit down on here. Here's my band. We'll start off with a close grip. So you can see I put my feet forward. You can see my feet with my heels into the floor so that they're not flat. There's a natural diagonal stance on my positioning on my feet. I adjust my feet to get the right resistance on my bands. Now I'll show you from the front and then from the side. So close grip, first of all. From this position, I'm not leaning back on the chair. I'm actually keeping my body upright. Again, I'll show you from the side in a moment. For the close grip, you start here. You pull your elbows all the way back until your hands, your fists are basically up by the top of your ribs. So from here, start position, all the way up to your ribs. Okay? Underhand grip. Turn my hands that way. Chest upright, shoulders back. This time pulling lower down, just like I showed you when I stand up. So my hands are tracking along the outside of my legs up towards my hip. Wide grip. Arms out nice and wide. Pulling back, straight down. As you can see, my arms aren't ending up here or out here. They're trying to stay in that same position the whole time. So I'm having to work just to keep my hands in that same position. Okay, and just quickly from the side, so you can see the position of my back. Whether it's the underhand, close grip, or wide grip, I'm not slouching. I'm upright. So if I'm doing the underhand grip, you can see here, look, tracking alongside. If it's the close grip, to the ribs. If it's the wide grip, again, you can see my elbows almost going in a straight diagonal. And then lastly, with your rows, it's taking it to the floor. So if I get down in this position, you can see me clearly. Yep. So just like on the chair, your feet, when you put your heels into the floor, your feet will have a natural fall forward, which is what you want. You don't want them up here so the band rolls back and slaps you in the face. So again, look, bad positioning. What do I need to do? I just need to pull my shoulders up, my shoulders back and my chest up. All of a sudden, my back is perfectly rigid and flat. Close grip row from here to my ribs. Underhand grip row, change my grip down here, still full extension, tracking lower down. Wide grip row, out nice and wide. Pull in from the front. Close grip, ribs, underhand grip, side of the legs to the top of the bum. Wide grip, nice and wide, tracking in a straight line. Lovely. Right, now, another exercise for your back is band pull apart. Two options. You can literally just let your band dangle, holding it in the middle, and then finding, excuse me, the appropriate tension. That way you can see that my hands are an overhand grip. Excuse me, sorry. For band pull aparts, you'll keep your fists in line with your shoulders. You'll be pulling the band away from you, each hand going back as far as it can. So that is even surpassing my chest. So look here, from this position, that is where the band hits my chest, but I want to try and pull it back just to get that little extra further, so I get more of a activation of your rear rhomboid and delt muscles, which is this top part of your back here, which is a very important part, which is your muscles around your rotator cuff and whatnot. Another way is you can always wrap the band around your hands, which is what I tend to do. Not much difference, just feels a bit more secure in the grip. So it's wrapped around my hands, feet nice and secure on the floor, stomach tight, chest up, shoulders back, pull apart. Again, positioning is everything. Technique is everything. Keeping yourself upright all the time. Don't be lazy. Okay? Right. I think that is it for back muscles, for back work, back exercises. Move on to shoulders. First thing I want to show you for shoulders is lateral raises, which are for these deltoid muscles here, your lats, and gives you a lovely external roundness of your shoulder. For men, it looks good with our tops on, with women, with your dresses and whatnot. It looks nice if you've got a nice defined shape around that area. And your standard lateral raises, again, you set up exactly the same. Find that middle part of the band so that you know that both arms are equal. From here, stomach tight, bum engaged, feet nice and firmly planted on the floor. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my hands to the point where they're basically in line with my shoulders and come back down again to my side. So up, straight down, keeping my stomach nice and tight, my chest up, my shoulders back. So my technique's good the whole way. These are your lateral raises. Now, front raises. All I'm doing is, look, the start position for my lateral raises is here. For my front raises, I'm just bringing my hands out slightly. My fists look like they're punching towards the floor. And all I'm going to do is bring my hands straight up to the point my fists are in line with my shoulders and lower them back down again. Nice and controlled, no jerking. The whole way, everything's intentional, everything is connected. Nothing's loose. That way we avoid injury. Really squeezing your stomach and your bum on these exercises. The light just went out. Interesting. Up. Down again. Okay, continuing with shoulders. Next, I'm going to show you a shoulder press. Now, what I'd suggest with the shoulder press, just to help with your the longevity of your bands, is step through the band. What I did there, I let my band, as always, dangle, step through in the middle. It feels even. Now I'm going to bring my foot to the side. And I've got my right foot, which is on the band. I've got my left foot slightly back so that there's a nice even stance. So I'm slightly leaning my weight back into my left foot, my back foot in this case, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is, now with your shoulder presses, you want a light band because they'll be your most flexible bands. Now, what I do is I bring myself up so that to start position so that the bands are tracking along the inside. You see some people putting them on the outside of the arms. I prefer to have the bands free. And again, so I'm starting, my hands aren't here. I'm starting a nice even angle, both sides. And what I'm doing is keeping my stomach tight, my bum engaged. I'm pressing straight up and coming straight back down again for my shoulder press. So straight up, all the way to the point at the top where my elbows are fully extended and coming back down again. Straight up and down. And that's your shoulder press. I'll show you from the side. So again, I'm not leaning forward. I'm not overly leaning backwards, keeping my weight balanced across in between my 2 feet. So from here, pressing straight up and down, straight up and down. And that's your shoulder press. Now, bent over flies. This is for your rear delt muscles, okay? So what we're gonna do for that is we're gonna step into the band. Turn the light on. Step into the band. Again, making sure they're nice and even. Now, for my bent over flies, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna cross the bands over. So I'm gonna take the band from my left hand into my right, and obviously vice versa, band from my right hand into my left. Now, this is where you get into that bent over position that we've covered at this stage. Sit back with your bum, shoulders back, chest up, and from here, keeping my head nice and fixed, I'm gonna raise my arms to the sides as high as I can to the point where they should be near enough in line, just slightly below with my shoulders, maintaining a nice controlled technique the whole time. I'm not letting them drop down, which your bands will be pulling the whole time. So a natural reaction will be to just let them fall, but don't. Work on your deceleration as well. So up from here, controlling them on the way down. If I show you from the side, bent over, nice flat back, start position, arms up, down, arms up, down. That is your rear flies. Had another power cut. We're having lots of power cuts at the minute. Right, so now for your upright.
What's changed?
Nothing's changed. I'm making a video at the minute. Nothing's changed.
Sorry, but I can't work like this, babe.
What am I supposed to do, babe?
I don't know, maybe it's the fridge, maybe we can try to work something else. Is Leo putting something on? Like, I need to be able to work. I can't work like this.
Next exercise, upright rows. So for this one, I'm gonna let the buckles dangle on the floor this time. And then what I'm doing is I'm stepping just on the bands, just inside the buckles, in that nice upright position, knees slightly soft, weight into the heels, chest up, stomach nice and tight, I'm holding the middle of the band. You can see the band dangling here with both hands. As you can see, my fists are facing towards the floor. And then what I'm going to do is, leading up with my elbows, keeping the band close to my body, I'm going to bring the band up just under my chin and then all the way back down again. So all the way up, just under the chin, then all the way back down again. If I show you from the side, so again, you're just noticing the body position, nice and flat back, chest up, stomach tight, backside engaged, keeping the band close to body, up towards the chin, and back down again. All the way up towards the chin, and back down again. Okay? Perfect. Next is shrugs. Now for shrugs, you let the bands dangle, whether you're using 1, 2, 3, 4, however many bands you use. Okay, your feet will be slightly wider for shrugs. You'll be holding the bands at the buckle end. And initially, we've got 2 exercises here. We've got shrug to pulls, and we've just got the standard shrug. Standard shrugs are from here, keeping my neck, and this is really important, keeping my neck nice and neutral. So I'm not hunching or lowering my neck down or extending it up. What I'm doing is I'm just shrugging my shoulders up towards my ears, giving them a squeeze at the top, and then letting them back down again. Okay, so it's shrugging up, squeeze, and down again. Simple as that. Shrug to high pull is you shrug up, then you literally keeping your hands tracking alongside your body is you pull your hands up as high as you can. Your elbows will naturally go backwards. Then you let your elbows back down and then you let the shrug down. So it's 2-parted in its movement. So it's a shrug, pull, pull goes back down, release to shrug. Shrug, pull, pull goes back down, release to shrug. And that's your shrug to higher pulls and your shrugs as well. And that is your shoulder exercises. Next, we're going to move on to arms. Biceps first. So your first exercise for your arms, get yourself in the right position, which you should know by now, with your bands on the floor, making sure they're even both sides. First, we're going to start with your standard bicep curl, which is elbows by your sides, the upper part of your knuckles facing behind you, and then all you're doing is you're bringing your hands up as high as you can, really squeezing your bicep muscles, making sure your stomach's tight, your bum's engaged, don't be lazy. So it's up and down, showing you from the side. Chest up, shoulders back, up and down again. Up and down again, okay? Next, we've got hammer curls. So instead of it being this underhand grip, you're going to turn your hands just slightly inwards, rotating your wrists, so it's like you're holding a hammer. And it's the same motion, elbows tracking nice and close to the body, all the way up towards your shoulders, really squeezing your stomach and your backside the whole time. Next, we've got close grip curls. Now for those, I'm going to bring my hands inside so that my elbows are resting on my abdominal muscles. And from here, I'm just going to squeeze my hands up, just like I would on a normal bicep curl. Squeeze it up and all the way down again. Okay? Then we've got wide grip curls. So for here, you're going to take your hands slightly away from your body and you're going to curl slightly. As you can see, I'm not going straight down. I'm coming out wider. So wide curls. Okay? And you can also do wide hammers. So instead of it being that grip, I just switch my grip. And now I've got that same hammer grip in a wide motion. Then you can do cross body curls alternatively. So my right hand is literally tracking all the way alongside my body. Then my left goes up and you're basically pulling, so my right hand goes towards my left shoulder. My left hand goes towards my right shoulder. Okay? And other than that, you've got just your standard single arm curls. All right? Next, moving on to triceps. First tricep exercise is tricep push downs. This is very similar in the positioning to the decline press. You put the band behind your neck, at the bottom of it, at the base of it, so it's resting nicely on your trapezius muscles. Your start position, find it even in the bands. Show you from the side. Start position's here, and then all I'm going to do is going to pull down and extend, and maybe even just a slight push backwards at the bottom to really engage the three heads of your tricep muscle. So it's here, elbows tracking nice and straight, squeeze at the bottom. From the front, from here, squeeze at the bottom. Now you can do reverse grip tricep push downs. Now for that, all I'm doing is I'm adjusting my grip. I've gone from here, if you like, from that hammer grip to that underhand grip. Same thing, pulling down. Okay, perfect. Now another tricep exercise will be tricep extend or tricep kickback, sorry. Now for those, you're going to stand like you would always stand on your band. Get yourself in the right position. Now this is a bent over positioned exercise, so you should know by now to do that. Stick my bum out, make sure my back's nice and flat, chest up. Now my start position is my elbows are up high, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to kick back, try and keep my elbows in the same position, and just extend at the top. So kick back, squeeze, and extend. Now as you kick back, you can also rotate your hands so that your upper knuckles are facing the floor and your fingers are facing the ceiling, to just get that little twist at the end. And if you do that, experiment with it, you'll feel the slight difference in your tricep muscles that is working. So there's your tricep kickbacks. Okay, come up out of that. Another tricep exercise you can do with the bands is overhead extensions. Now for that, very much like you remember the chest fly setup, you step forward, step into the band in the middle, make sure it's even, step forward on the band. Now for this, I'm going to bring the bands up behind my head to start with. So my elbows are up nice and high. I'll show you from the front in a minute. My hands are both together, and I'm going to push up. I'm going to extend my triceps from behind my head up to fully extended straight at the top. Showing you from the front, not trying to let my elbows flail, try and keep my elbows either side of my head and keeping them steady. Squeeze up at the top, squeeze all the way back down again. Overhead tricep extensions. Okay, perfect. Another tricep exercise is tricep push-outs. For that, it's like the chest press setup. You go underneath your armpits, get your position. You should know by now, fully extend with one arm, go across both bands with the other, let the buckles dangle, then get in your start position. Now for your tricep push-outs, your start position is like this. Back nice and flat, you should know the upright position by now. Chest tight, chest up, stomach tight. And from here, keeping your elbows in the same position, you're just trying to extend all the way out and then all the way back in again. All the way out and then all the way back in again. I'm just trying to think if there's any more tricep exercise. I think that will keep you true. The amount that I've shown you in these videos, if there's any new exercises I add, I will add a new demonstration video to it. But I think that's basically covered all muscle groups. I will cut this video up into segments, so you've got a chest, a back, shoulders, and an arms. Any questions, please reach out. Remember, the most important thing is stomach tight, bum tight, feet driven into the floor. That's your core, that's your foundation, that will keep you true. And obviously any questions, just reach out. Have a fantastic day.